Hello everyone, and how are we doing? Let me just turn my closed captions on and we will get started in a moment. So how are people doing today? This is once again a spontaneous stream. I seem to be quite good at doing these on a Tuesday, but yeah, let's get going. So also the question of the day, as it says in the title of this, is what is the worst thing that has ever happened to one of your Sims? So let's get going into Newtonshire, and don't mind me, I am just finishing up some cheesecake, but this may take a moment to load in, or it's going to make me a liar. It looks like it's making me a liar today. Okay, so there we go. All right. So last time we played we created these 4 households, and then we played the Portillo family and then the Burr family. So we are actually going to pop back into the Burr family for a moment, because I realised that I forgot to do one small thing yesterday, which was actually check lifetime wants, seeing as the younger of the Burrs, Jo, turned into a teenager and she rolled popularity / family before she rolled any kind of lifetime want, which means that potentially she could have a family related lifetime want. So, and as this looks like it's going to take a while to load in, I'm just going to finish off my cheesecake. Okay, there we go. So, given that Jo had rolled a ideal number of children of 1, I am honestly half expecting her to have rolled the marry off 6 children want, which, if she has, is going to be very, very interesting. Because obviously, if she has, then there's going to be a debate between whether we follow her ideal number of ideal number of children want, or instead if we decide to follow her lifetime want. So we will have to have a look and see on that when it comes through in a moment. So the worst thing that has ever happened to a Sim, I actually honestly can't remember. Well, something that is obviously not instigated by me in terms of either creating a story or just deciding to see what would happen. I don't think in The Sims 2 I had ever seen a Sim die from being crushed by a a satellite, but I do remember a couple of stories from people where they were doing like a legacy challenge. Did their founder built the house and all that good stuff, and because they had a lack of options in terms of entertainment, they decided to send their founder sim out to either stargaze or look like go cloud watching, and then the satellite just, and yeah, legacy pretty much ended, or at the very least they kind of posted about their ridiculously bad luck. The other thing I suppose is probably when I'm going about my medieval sims, and obviously there's a lot more things that you can die from in that one. So I did have an instance where I had a, like, or I think it was the wife of one of like the, I'm not going to say peasant household because that just sounds a bit mean, but one of the like worker sims, I think is like their first spouse like died in childbirth, and then the baby died as well, and then their second spouse also died in childbirth, just because of obviously how deep and dangerous that was. I love the Sims 1 Superstar soundtrack. It's just so classic Hollywood to me. It just brings up some of those memories. So, unfortunately, the Burr family, we are taking... I should have complained earlier. I was going to say that it's taking a while to load in, but nope, it looks like it has just rectified itself, so we can have a look at that. So do we want to have some bets on what lifetime want she has? Because, yeah, like I said, I am anticipating that we have a family-related want. So one of the things I am trying to debate on is if we have family sims which roll the, like, graduate 3 children from college want, because that is not going to happen. So just as a reminder, we had Charlie here, who has the lifetime want to become a visionary or reach the top of the artist career, so we may change that in this hood to have like a little art gallery or something. And then her younger sister Jo is... oh, no, okay, no family sim related want. She wants to become a media magnate, which again is going to have an interesting impact. So we'll move over to the Huffman family, who is obviously the main ones on our schedule to play. So this is an, well, he rolled as asexual. I'm still trying to figure out how I am going to manage that. But he is an asexual family sim who rolled with 2 children. And he currently has a want to adopt another one. Or at least generally have a baby, which is going to be interesting because there are no adoption facilities in the town as of yet. And we have his son, Eric, and daughter, Ria. So what is your lifetime want? There we go. I thought we might have at least one family sim with a difficult to achieve want. So let's just set up his aspiration benefits and double check what his secondary aspiration was intended to be, and that is pleasure. Now, quite a lot of sims seem to be rolling that as their aspiration or secondary aspiration at the moment. So we will do set some points for Eric, and Ria doesn't have any at the moment, but she does have a want to learn how to talk, so we will lock that in and make sure that he should be alright. And then obviously also what we are going to do is send you off to plant some tomatoes and change this thing back to chickens, because I just decided that every single household was going to have... oh, okay, I didn't decide, I accidentally clicked. And every single household has a bunch of geese rather than a bunch of chickens. So let's remember which one is the pause button, because that is not the space bar. And we want to teach you how to talk. So we will get that started, and then we will probably put it on 2 speed so we can just see how things are going. And yes, I have noticed that my shadows have a ghostly ethereal look to them, but I will probably have a look at that outside of streams just to make sure that there's nothing too obvious going on there. It might be something that I just need to change with the graphics rules. So I also wanted to have a look at aging. So you become a child in 3 days and you become a teenager in 3 days. So I think what I was planning was when Eric grows up, or when it becomes 6 p.m. and Eric has a day progress towards becoming a teenager, I think I'm going to reset it and then do a +3 days. So he's then 5 days instead of 7 to becoming a child, becoming a teenager. And then I may grow Ria up 1 day early, just so that we have Sims that are not necessarily quite so strict on their ages. So we have Mr. Humble coming across, giving us a computer which we are just going to sell without unwrapping, because that is, for one, either a free computer, or for a second, that is going to be a free 1,000 simoleons, neither of which we want. So speaking of wants, we will find the checkbook and send some money over to our mayor's household in a moment. Probably when Ria here has finished learning to talk, and I completely forgot to put down a little toddler toilet, wherever that is. That is right there. And we will put it, yeah, just put it across there so that can work. And let me just have a look, because I still need to try and remember if I had a homework book mod, but it doesn't look like it, at least not easily accessible in there, so we will never mind that for now. And oops, also one other thing is we want the bathroom controller in as well. And then also, yes, because I messed up with the bathrooms everywhere as well, this needs to be changed around. Yeah, I did a very, very good job building this, didn't I? I did an absolutely terrible job. Okay, and apparently I've been told that there is some stuff that should not be showing up. Where is that? Ah, got it. Okay, I will just delete that. So that was basically me trying to have some of the rules set up, and that seems to have completely failed, because that has just displayed it as blank black text. So I am just double checking to see if that has been removed, and it looks like it has. So apologies about that, people. I was trying to set that up, but yeah, it doesn't look like it's was that successful, so sorry. But hope you can forgive that little error. And anyway, so yeah, you are almost done being taught to talk, so we can try and potty train you, and then we can send a bunch of money across to our mayor, who, unfortunately, I didn't realise this at the time, will only get the checks when the mail is sent through, which is Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, so we won't really be able to do the community lot until Saturday. But one of the things I did do is that the community lot is all set up and ready to go to be bought and worked on. So that has worked out there, and I also need to set up our mod items. So once again, we want the school controller, because we don't want any of these sim kids going off to school, at least not before we've got some kind of educational system set up here. So the time lock thing, the bat box, the yes, college adjuster, because that allows us to randomize skills up to a maximum of 5. And we want the clothing controller, the sim blender, which could probably go there, and then we also want the ACR controller. So that is adjust, casual romance, and spawn adjuster, and we will put that up here, but also change the model just so we are aware that that is not. So we'll change it to an orchid. And also one other thing I will do, so we will set the lock type to be church, which basically means that everyone who has an ACR token has their well, let's have a look. The well, autonomy base time should decide to be like quite a high level. Let's see if it's worked now, or would that need to be adjusted? So I think that may need to be adjusted. So we want Raymond, and yes, I'm trying to figure out how to do this because I haven't been able to load up SimPE just yet. We want to obviously have a look at what we can do by then. Okay, you are pretty much not doing anything, so we will select a PE for that check, and that is our mayor. I'll send you across to feed the chickens. And then Ria has a want to learn the nursery rhyme, so we will send her brother up to do that. Just because I find that cute. It being done by the kids and siblings rather than the parent. I just find it a nice thing that some of the older siblings can do. So anyway, I will get Raymond back to do some cooking. Remember to add a sink to our kitchen, and that should be good. So we can, let's see, serve lunch. Ah, yes, that was why I didn't do it initially, because we want to randomize his skills, which, here we go, so skills, random, let's have a look. So when with a maxed out cleaning, so we will decrease that, we will increase the mechanical, and give a couple more points in the others, just to make it a bit more even. Then we will do the same with Eric here. So yep, that looks good. And with Ria, so again we want to probably reduce the ones that she's not going to be learning really as a toddler. But mechanical, I've got a few mechanical toys. Charisma, logic and creativity all sound fine. A young toddler to be learning. So Raymond, let's get you cooking some stuff for lunch. So let's see. Maybe some gyros. And we can just speed back up to 2. So the big question for this household is going to be, how is Raymond going to be able to adopt a third child? But we certainly have no... Oops. Uh-oh. Yes, stop panicking. We don't have fire alarms in this neighbourhood, so you are going to have to put that out yourself, so you need to stop panicking. Come on, put it out. Put it out. I don't want another orphan kid. No. Your dad's a bit busy, Ria. Your dad's a bit busy. Oh dear. Well, that is officially the first fire of the neighbourhood. But thankfully it looks like we do just about have it under control, so no one's gonna suffer anything from that. Though unfortunately we did pass out on the floor a tiny bit, and Eric is taking his frustrations out on the teddy bear. So yep, that is lunch officially burnt. And yes, so yeah, that hasn't turned out too well. So unfortunately Ria isn't really going to get much rest like that, so we will just you know, keep going. Let's keep going. Though Eric cannot actually get past her, so we'll pause that. And like I said, we have everyone has aged up a day, so we want to reset Eric to maximum days, but then make him, oh, no, not Ria, oops, that's the wrong thing. Jeez, I think I put their names here a bit too similar. 3 days older, Eric. Thanks, Raymond. Now I know why I dislike not neat, sloppy Sims. So while you're occupied, while you are quickly available, I think I will pause you eating and put Ria in bed because she is getting pretty tired, and then head back and do a bit of lunch with Eric. So you are okay on motives. You're probably going to need to use the bathroom at some point. But now we will just let them do or walk around and do things on free will. You will probably be configure seek on, and you are napping on the sofa. So like I keep on trying to say, if you are tired enough to nap on the sofa, you are probably tired enough to go to bed. So that pretty much should hold true for all of you. The windows are closed, okay. And Eric, we will send you to bed once you are finished with your shower today. Okay, yep, that's looking good. Speed things up a little bit, and we can progress through to the next day. So you want to gain a generic skill point. Obviously yours is cooking and cleaning, as is a usual for a family sim. Ria's bladder, or he needs to go to the toilet quickly, so we will get Raymond out just so we can do that. This probably means that she will need an early morning nap, but we will be able to manage that. Unfortunately, we didn't get her to the potty in time, so he needs to have a change, and that also unfortunately wakes up Eric, so everyone is up and around. Thankfully, I keep testing cheats enabled on for situations like this, so I can just drag down everyone's energy and put them back to bed. Obviously not Raymond, because he will need to keep an eye on Ria. But, yep, okay, that looks acceptable. And she is going off to learn a few skills, so we can tend these and water them, and again we will hopefully get a few things harvested so we can fill up our fridge before too long. So let's just see how that goes, and we will have a look at how things are going for the moment. So let's just speed it up a bit because there is not too much of interest going on here at the moment. Raymond's gotten up and he is playing with Ria and helping her with the speaky. Oops, okay, apparently I didn't actually change that to Flexi School, so we will never mind. That bus will unfortunately stay there for an hour now, but oh well, nothing we can do. Whoops. So just ignore that you saw that. Ria, okay, you need to be told that you need to use the toilet. We gain 400 simoleons because thanks to the 6 solar panels we have above or placed on our roof, we have an excess of electrical energy. So that is nice. So coming through, water training is this. Okay, he is tired, but nah. Spoke too soon. Nope, we don't want you to read to her because she is absolutely exhausted. We want you to put her to bed for a bit of a nap. Let you run on free will for a bit because you will need to use the bathroom and have a snack. Eric seems to be doing okay, and he can collect the eggs from the chickens as well. So you are, let's just see, so there's nothing that you are rolling for once that is overly speaking to any aspiration to me just yet, although let's see, so you will, by the time we leave this rotation, you will have 3 days left before you become a teenager, which will be at the end of the next rotation that I have scheduled. So we will have a few people coming through and doing a few interesting things, and yes, I am going to teach a little bit, seeing as I've missed like 2 attempts to teach Ria how to use the toilet. So we will just wake her up, and she should be full on energy until the more appropriate bedtime. So I do have a mod that enables or allows toddlers, I think it's like if they're put in their crib after 9 PM, then they will sleep through the night until 6 AM, and then a similar thing with elder sims, they will not abruptly wake up too early, just because before I had that, it just played havoc with me. I just could not, I was just too hectic for me to try and balance all of that out and remember to send these sims to bed super late or make sure there was someone up to keep an eye on the toddlers, so you won't be seeing too many like 3 AM wake ups. So what? Okay, apparently I was going to say Eric's making some friends, but it looks like she's just heading off. Okay, this is probably one instance in which I will allow a sim to take a nap, seeing as I did get him up at like 4 AM to help manage with Ria. Speaking of, how is she doing? She probably needs a bottle. And yeah, so technically the food here is burnt, seeing as we had the first fire in the neighbourhood, but otherwise, you know, it's just going to be one of those things that you have to deal with. Can't be too bad, just scrape off all the burnt bits. What do you mean all of it is burnt? That's just the kind of thing I imagine it is. So you obviously want to learn to walk and then be talked to and be played by. And we will get you to finish off just the last little bit of that food. So that was an interesting start to this rotation anyway. And Ria is going to be growing up. Yeah, so we probably want to make sure that she has at least learnt some things, so we want to be able to teach her to talk. And then that also means deleting these few items, because as a toddler she's no longer going to need them. going to say yes, stop wanting to throw up and just go and teach your daughter how to walk. So we'll dispose of this. One thing that I did like by the fact that Raymond actually rolled to be an asexual family sim was that it meant that I could basically put in some very diverse genetics for the kids in this family, rather than obviously either creating parents or a partner and doing genetics through that. I could just go, well, okay, you have those genetics and you have those genetics, and that will give a bit of diversity into the neighborhood pretty quickly. How, I'm going to say, how are you doing on learning how to walk? But no, not very well. Okay, so unfortunately you are in gold aspirations, so I am going to just grow you up and put you in standard clothing, so place you in your everyday. Stop asking for a story. I don't think I've ever found a mod to really stop that. I just find it so irritating because even if you cancel it out, it still goes, walks to the bookshelf, takes a book out, and comes back, and it just takes absolutely forever to do anything. So there we go. Ria is growing up. Okay, no, that is ridiculously mismatched. So we will obviously be changing that as soon as is reasonably possible. And no, you don't want to be going into that bed. You will have your own in a moment. Though I do also have a mod which allows beds or inaccessible beds to be more accessible. So if we had a situation where we didn't have much space, for instance, one of the sides of this bed was up against a wall, Sims could still use it as a double bed rather than just a single bed. So it does do a few oddities like that, where Sims climb into bed from halfway across the room. Anyway, we will just get some clothing or new clothing options for Ria, and we will continue on our way for the rotation. So let's have a look at what is going on. And the game is loaded up. Okay. So she did, or spawn, for lack of a better term, with like a skirt. So we will have a look to see if there are any somewhat reasonable options there. So scroll through all of the themes and see if we can find one that's somewhat aligned with what she had, which seems to be these ones. No, probably these ones with the nice boots, so we'll go for that. And then let's just have a look at a nice shirt for her. So some of these things I do have default placements for, some of them I don't. And I know there's unfortunately one clothing item I have for adult males where I've got two different default clothing options, and I just cannot be bothered to try and resolve that. So if you see any Sims wandering around with like half their torso missing, that's why. So, yes, let's go for that one, a nice summery orange. And as pretty much all of my custom clothing is townified and Sims can randomly generate into those, I won't worry too much about making sure she has some appropriate clothes chosen, because it will just be random. So, and this is kind of what I meant about some interesting genetics. I use some of the facial slider mods to kind of tweak her lips, tweak her nose, and tweak her eyes. And I think also I tweaked her jaw a little bit as well, so we have some more distinct looking Sims, so we will accept that and quickly drop it all this just to make sure that she has her own bed, and we will give her just I was going to say just the yellow bed sheets, but no, because that is the same one that's on her dad's. And we will indulge the fact that she is a girl for a little bit and give her a pink bed, or pink bedding rather. So you probably need to stop that and come back to bed for a bit, and we will let your dad come and tend that instead. I'm presuming you will be running on. I was going to say, yep, there we go. He's got in his queue, go to bed, but no, that is play with the teddy bear. So we will delete this thing as we no longer need that. So we have 2 children Sims and 3 teenage Sims at the moment now, so we may need to try and think about some kind of homeschooling situation, or it may be that for this initial generation we will just do as we are. If I actually go and have a look at Sim logical schools, so let me just have a look and remind myself what we have. So there are a couple of tables and workbooks, so let me just have a look. So okay, so this is more of an actual setting for a school rather than something that I can necessarily just put down on a residential lot, but never mind. We have plenty of options, and I think, like I said before, we will judge a Sims grade based more on how much autonomous skilling they have and how much they want to learn. So seeing as you have gotten a bronze badge, we will put you up to a C+. Your sister, whoops, still has the locked want to learn a nursery rhyme, so we will just remove that. And we will see what you roll. So you pretty much just want to go and play, which is absolutely fine. And let's just see. So one bathroom may be a bit of an issue with some of these larger families, but they will have to just manage for the time being, as there aren't really that many facilities around for them to extend. So I think once we get past the first rotation and we are able to put down our first community lot, I will start thinking about how we are going to manage not just housing extensions but lot extensions, and also other options in terms of like who is going to be able to expand their house, what kind of resources are we going to need in the neighborhood for them. Are we just going to make sure it is like unlimited, so long as you have the money we can do it? Are we going to do it for just one day a week, like say a Sunday? You can only, whoops, got to change the school for her. I'm not doing well at this, am I? So change school to flexi school. School bus will head off on its own in a moment, and let's actually just have a look at Ria as she is a child. So admittedly, as does happen with some Sim toddlers and Sim kids, her face is a bit awkward as she grows up, but believe me, she will indeed grow into it. When I made her, I pretty much made her as an adult and ensured that her face looked alright before aging her down to a toddler in Create a Sim, so everything is going to be fine. And unfortunately, Raymond is rolling a few romantic aligned ones, which he probably really shouldn't, but once again I will need to figure out how to do that on my own. So we will send, I think, everyone out to tend to the plants, because this is going to definitely be a family effort to make sure that everything is all good. And we will have Ria come feed the chickens, collect the eggs, and then we will tell Eric and Raymond to water all of the plants. It did rain overnight briefly, but I just want to make sure that they have everything done well. And another one of my mods coming in a bit here. This is one that allows children to do a bit of cooking. It's slightly odd in terms of the animations mean that they float a little bit, but to be honest, she is supposed to be like 4 or 5 years old, so maybe toaster pastries in the oven is a bit advanced for her, but you know, I'm not going to micromanage everything. We have some of the plants that are getting a bit overwatered. I'll cancel that out and I'll just let them well, I'll let Eric go and tend to some of the plants which have grown some new weeds, and I will let everyone else just wander on free will so they can just do what they want for the moment. So there we go, and we've been pretty efficient today because we are almost through the first main rotation for this family, and then the one tomorrow should be pretty, or even quicker, seeing as it is just a single sim. So it's going to be an interesting consideration because I do have naturally ideas and plot threads for what all of these sims are going to be doing. Obviously we have the mayor's daughter in the first household who wants to become an education minister, so she is going to be championing education for the kids of the village. Second household is pretty much going to be those two sisters learning like how to live and be good independent adults. This house is probably going to be the one where most of the kids get adopted into once we have an adoption system set up. And then the last one is probably going to be our first business focused sim, as Richard Nolan in his original neighbourhood was indeed part of a rather wealthy family that owned quite a lot of businesses. Like, think pretty much the land grabs from Blue Water Village. So what else is happening here? Okay, you want to fall in love, but you gain a skill point. Well, what can probably be most useful for you? I think cooking. Oh, I'm surprised after that fire he hasn't actually rolled the want to get a want or to learn fire safety, because I think that would probably be my priority. So these two are getting along pretty well. Almost at best friends. So once again we will just let them be and just make sure nothing too disastrous happens to all of them. Yeah, Eric seems to really like that teddy bear. Okay, Raven's gained a cooking skill point and he wants to go to a community lot. Okay, admittedly that's rolling up because technically we have a community lot. It's just completely empty at the moment. And Ria gets an A+ reward card. So she has decided to autonomously play chess and let's gain a skill point. So she goes up to a C+. I don't think Raymond's want here would actually get fulfilled until she comes home from the in-game school. My goodness, you are gaining logic points quite quickly. Are you... info test IQ? Okay, no, your IQ is 100, which is the usual one. It's just I am used to Sims learning skills that quickly only if they've been given smart milk, and we obviously saw that she wasn't given any, so a little bit confusing on just how that happened, but nevertheless we can delete this. And I probably should actually also age up Raymond a few days just so that he is not ridiculously young compared to his children. So we will put you at 9 days. You'll become an elder in 23 days time. Eric will become an adult in 18 days. It's still going to be a decent amount of time, and obviously there are going to be lots of opportunities, speaking theoretically, in the future for Raymond to adopt a few children of his own. So we will cancel that out, let him use the bathroom, maybe get something to eat, and then head to bed. Nope, he is going to watch a movie. Okay, well, then I am going to send you to have a snack, put away the leftovers, and then get to bed. So yeah, like I said, we've been very efficient in this one because we've just been able to speed through everything, probably helped by the fact that we didn't need to spend ages in create a sim or do anything relating to building any of these houses. So I may, depending on how time goes, sneakily go back to the mayoral household and do a bit of progress into that rotation, and then we can get our first community lot started. So you need some food, you are also needing some, you are probably okay to at least start tending things. Okay, you are slightly in the way of your sister getting some food, so please let her pass. There we go, so she can finish off the toaster pastries there, and Eric can probably also help tend some of these plants in the garden as well. So Ria's probably going to be cleaning up those dishes when she is done, and Raymond is going to probably want to make a bit more food for this. Yep, so there we go, and Raymond, probably it will be lunchtime by the time he's finished. Okay, we'll feed the chickens and collect some food. We get another 418 simoleons. Who asked to be read to? I really need something to dial that down or just remove it altogether. Okay, I definitely saw something flying by while Raymond was getting eggs out of the chicken hutch, so it might actually be something to do with that I keep on seeing flying by. It'd be interesting if it was. Anyway, stock with some fresh eggs. And then we can check the food supplies just to see how things are. Okay, that just basically gives us 12. And let's see some grilled cheese sandwiches. Oh no, he's already gone. No, he's just stuffing his face. Okay, come on. Get some food done properly, please. No, stop that. Okay, are these actually... Okay, no, that is a modded food that I have that is just labelled as grilled cheese sandwiches. That is instead cinnamon raisin toast. But regardless, food is still food. So we'll just let that go. And okay, I misspoke. He's not going to turn into a teenager on Sunday. Eric is going to become a teenager on Saturday. And I think I wanted to try and delete that song last time, but I wasn't able to do so. So anyway, let's move on to the next song. And yeah, Ria is definitely running through all of those logic points at a ridiculous rate. So send Eric off to have some food, just so we can make sure that their needs are at least moderately kept up. So then we can just make sure that everyone else looks absolutely fine. Which... Yep, the only one really is Ria. She's a bit hungry, but that's nothing that can't be dealt with in a bit when she decides to somehow pull herself away from the chessboard. Oh, I just saw a little thing fly up. That looks like Raymond and Eric have become best friends at last. So yeah, this is one issue with everyone basically having ooh, okay, apparently we have got some bugs on our plants outside, so that will need a bit of taking care of. Unfortunately, we don't really have the money or resources for any of the households to get greenhouses, so this will just have to be the situation that they have. Though I think the ladybug houses will work outside. Let me just have a look at that, because this household at the very least can afford them. So let's expand this up and go across, and yeah, 400 simoleons. Does that say nope, that doesn't say it needs to be in a greenhouse, so I'll just put 2 down there. I have no idea how many of these are actually needed to properly care for plants, but it can't be too onerous to have one or one per 2 rows of plants. So I will send Ria away from the chessboard that she seems to be absolutely enamored by, to go and get some food. So it might be prudent of me to have a look to see if there are any other options for children's toys that they can have. So we do have an option for a doll's house, so let's put that down there, and also a general toy box. So let's have a look what colours we have. So we can just put a generic wooden one down. Cuddly toys, which I obviously already have, and yes, that looks mostly like it for there. And then in hobbies, anything that is of particular interest here, it doesn't look like it. So fishing, archery, fencing, not too many things that you necessarily want a young kid of the modern age to necessarily have. And then similarly in the miscellaneous stuff is more things relating to crafting. So yeah, so I think we will just leave that as it is. We were coming up on 7 PM, so we will have a quick last check through. So Eric has only 2 days of childhood left, but hopefully by then he should reach a silver gardening badge, which would be absolutely fine for him. Ria seems to be doing fine, just has some general childhood wants. So she is fairly interested in talking to her father, so that was play with and tell a joke. So entertain, joke, and play red hands. And I know we are just at 7 o'clock, but I just want to fulfill these 2 wants quickly for her. And I will also just leave a small note for myself that she may be leaning towards popularity and knowledge. Okay, so that looks good, and she's rolled a want to talk to her dad. Though that has rolled away now, but she is very much looking like a sim who has predetermined. Primary and secondary aspiration just on wants that she has. So Raymond is not quite so much. He is rolling wants simply because he's interested in nature, but anyway, so we will save that. And we will move across to the Nolan household. Oh, yep, because I can't actually go to the next household if I have a child sim selected. So let's go to Raymond and then go to the Nolans. So same house, same or different story. Though we will need to rearrange the bathroom, and I will also need to remember to do this when I put down any new lots as well, because they were all based on the same design. I just made it once, copied it 5 times, adjusted it for the mayor, and then that was it. So we want to obviously get that and some money options, and let's see. So you have 7,000 and a bit left over. We will give you a phone, and let's actually see what things can we potentially start having you sell. So we want, now where is it? There we go, an awning. Let's go for a nice blue one that is just like that, so we have a small bit of protection from any rain that comes across. And then we have, where is it? Is it that? Yes, it is. So we can have this one outside, and that is going to be where our cash register is going to go. Speaking of cash register, that is under electronics and miscellaneous. There we go. Now the only question is going to be, what is he going to sell? We want wall or decorations, and I can never remember where the open and closed sign is. It's in miscellaneous. There it is. So we will put that up there, and we will get you to open your first business. Just before, we will check your lifetime want is to become... Oh, okay, we have rolled some good sims with some good lifetime wants. So Richard Nolan here wants to become a city planner, which means he is probably going to be at the forefront of deciding the development of the town. So let's see, let's start a home business. Yes, we would like to start a home business. So from that, I will want the business controller, which is nicely there. Slap that on the back of the wall just so it's out of the way. And let's go into wholesale mode so we can actually have a look at what we can buy. So let's just do basically everything. Anything that is not in yellow, like this, cannot actually be sold. But we will go through and have a quick look at what other options there are. So as a starting sim, what do we think needs to come through? And I think also this is a good argument for things to be a little bit pricey, as we could argue that Richard is importing them and thus obviously has a bit of a higher price threshold that he needs to meet. So what do we have in these things down here? Okay, those are vendor signs. So quick buy needed berry baskets or leaves, edible fruits, foraged goods, garden crops. So yeah, I might do a few of these on some shelving. So if I actually just put one down, so I'm aware of it. So that is all farming stuff. That is a rodent trap, rodent sprayer, archery targets. There's a manuscript option. Okay, and okay, so we've got some more things. That's empty. Harvest buckets. There's the fertilizer. I knew it was somewhere. I knew you could buy it somewhere. So that's £13 for that. That seems alright. Those scrap buckets. Honeycomb smokers. So these are water and food troughs for animals. That's dyes, mineral powders. So I think probably, at least for the very start, Richard, Richard, sorry, I couldn't quite remember his name for a moment then, which is not a good sign. but I think he will be selling imported foods, and then from that we will probably have him be the person that is in charge of selling. Okay, so we will also have some edible fruits and some berries there, and that was the foraged goods, so yes, we will also have some of that. This is some stuff which we don't actually necessarily want. I'll turn off wholesale mode, go into shelving units. This will take a moment to load up because we haven't actually accessed this area yet. And let's just see. So what kind of market stalls do we have? So that's a fresh fish display, fishing rods. Yeah, that's a few specialized items like chainmail stand, produce baskets. So what we want more is something like this, a wooden flower display, just because that feels more appropriate to what we are trying to do. That is a winery shelf, and there we go. That's probably more what we want, though it is quite a dark wood and fairly large. Let's have a look and see what these ones are like. Even bigger. Okay. Okay, so that is a cask shelf, alright. I think I will actually probably, yep, we'll go for these ones. That only has one option, so let's see if we can get a few of these selected. There we go. So 1, 2 and 3 there, because obviously we don't want it to be in the way of the market stall. Can we actually fit another one there? Yes, but we would need to move that around a bit. So if we just do that for the moment, then put that there, and then can we hopefully, no, we can't move that back in there, but we can put that there. Okay, so we are going to have to pretty much leave them where they are. Or actually no, I will extend this out one more, so we will have, yep, like that, okay, and like that, so we have some space underneath there, so they are all in a nice line. Good, 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 good. And then we can put, I was going to say or not, because this isn't going to fit there, but no, it will. Okay, so up there, and then that up there, and then that we want a couple of, so we could put that there, and then move it back down and put that there, and then this we want to have there. So what options can we put in? Okay, so that is not actually something that you can put. Right. That is something for people to come by and actually select themselves. Okay, actually I know what I'm going to do instead, so we will move these out of the way. I know what I just did, so we will just rectify that by deleting those options, and then we will instead come back through and find those storage boxes which were in shelving, if I can remember to select the right option. So obviously we want that or that. So if we put that there and have that one there, and then the last two, and then what we can actually do is get Richard over here so we can tell him to buy specific fruit and veg without having to actually grow them himself. And then we can basically fill up these different baskets with various items. So what do we have? So let's go for an apple and cherries from there. And then we will go for berries. So let's go for some a blackcurrant and another blackcurrant, and apparently our business is technically considered open, so I will just quickly use the business controller to close that. So features, oops, yes, we want to have that closed, and we also want the customer adjust item along with a few other mods just to make sure that we have everything all arranged and set up nicely. So there is the customer selector, and we have that which we want to pull forwards because that then goes there, and then the clothing adjuster. So this is a business type, this is a retail service. Age, we are okay with children and basically everyone coming through. So elder, yep. Adult, yep. Young adult, we don't have any of those, so it doesn't matter. All aspirations are fine, all genders, yeah, basically this is if you want to start really narrowing things down, but we obviously don't want to do that, so we will just come back here and grab a few things, and then we will buy, let's see, a bag of nuts from there, and then we'll buy some carrots. Let's go for a red cabbage. So how many items in inventory do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, so that'll be 5, 7. Okay, so we should still be good. Okay, those don't look like they can be put in there, so instead, oh, okay, no, those can't intersect other objects, so my great plans are not working as I had intended. Which is always nice to see, isn't it? It's always nice to see your plans going wrong. And doubly so when you forget to hold down shift when you're putting an item down. So we want to ignore that, and we just want you to start hopefully buying some of these things. And I know that these should work because I have a lot, or a household in a different lot that basically tells all of these things. So let's buy some onions, and what else should we probably, and put in some russet potatoes as well. So yes, these can be put in here perfectly fine. So there we go, and those items are in there, and we will put those for sale. So I think we will also probably need to make sure that we have a few of them. So 5 beans, make sure we have that. And similarly for some cabbage. Just so we can obviously have them stacked in the inventory. There goes the onions and the potato. And I think, so if we just make sure on all of this, we can have a look and make sure we know just exactly how many of each item we want to have in stock. We can delete these things and just check. So we have 5 beans, 5 red cabbage, so we want another 5 carrots. That's 5 carrots there, and then we want also 5 beets. That's 3 there, 4 and 5. Then buy 1, 2, oops, not cassava, 3, 4, 5 onions, and 1, 2. Yes, this is a bit okay, so we will do 6 honeydew. This would be nice if there was an option to obviously go through and select multiples, but this is probably not necessarily how the mod was intended to go. Anyway, so 5 beets, 5 red cabbage, 5 carrots, 5 beets. Okay, we've technically got 6 onions and 6 lettuce. And 5 cassava, which I'm pretty sure I didn't select, but never mind. So we want a honeydew melon next. Okay, that is why, because that is coming up as cassava. So instead, let's go for an eggplant or aubergine. Okay, so do we have... We're going to need 1 more of that. Let's do some strawberries. 3, 4, 5, and that should be 6 coming into inventory. And then let's just pause for a moment and have a quick look at what else would be something that is like easy and decent to grow. So like cauliflower or leeks, probably some radishes. Okay, yeah, let's go for radishes. That should be okay, so I can actually queue them up and they will all turn up at the same time, it looks like. And apparently I was a bit overzealous because that was 7 radishes, not 6. And let's see, so we have cantaloupe melon. I tried doing honeydew, but that came up as a completely different one. We have strawberries. So we could do... let's do some squash. Okay, so that should be a bunch of squash coming into inventory. Yep, okay, and once these are in and we have them properly set for sale, we have enough in the inventory to get started. I will move this basket in a moment when we are done with it. So if I just put that, let's just say there for now, and delete the humble computer, and we will toggle this to open. We'll let you or just have a quick look at the chickens, and hopefully these things will start disappearing in a while. And we have our first customers. Okay, so that's good. So let's get started in the selling. So this looks like Monday. We are probably going to set as our... no, because if we set Sunday as our import day, then we can obviously have that being set. So we have all of our things imported on Sunday, sorted out and ready for sales on Monday. So look at that, we have our first customer loyalty star. And also we want to randomize your skills, and actually I will probably decrease that by a couple of points for some of these things, just because, yeah, okay, that looks halfway decent to me. So let's do sales. for some of these Sims and just make sure they are being appropriately enticed into buying things. And because we have the business controller type, no one is coming in here with inappropriately decreased motives. So we've not really got anyone who's too grumpy. Well, not to begin with anyway. And I've just remembered that we need to probably lock this for household and employees only. Just so we can make sure that that is... they're not inclined to come and try and go into our house inappropriately. So let's do a basic sale on you as well. So even though all of these things are set to expensive, that people are still willing to buy them. So going pretty okay, I'd say. So if we just quickly restock a couple of things. And just make sure nothing is going to be too out of stock too quickly. Do a basic sale on you and again on you. So we can get a few things sold and earn our first 100 simoleons. And you of course obviously want to make a sale to Janie. Actually if we do that, we change that. Then hopefully the fact that you have pretty much increased your everything to maximum, we should be able to encourage you, and this should hopefully count as a sale. No, unfortunately not. It didn't look like it did. That's a shame. So she is going through and actually wanting to buy a few more things. So yes. So our business is now rank 1. So what do we take? So do we go for a notable reputation? So people are getting to know who you are and they like what they hear. Enjoy a starting boost to all new relationships. Assess a Sim's mood. Get a tiny bit of money. Get a wholesale discount. Or get a bit more influence. I think we will go for the wholesale discount so we can make more profit. So there we go over there. Okay, and unfortunately the most annoying thing about starting up a new business is that Sims are going to not overly have many skills. So unfortunately that means that when we try and ring up these customers, Richard Nolan here is going to have a difficult time ringing them up. So reputation increase. Let's see if we can actually squeeze a sale through on her. I probably will need to have her hairstyle changed a slight bit because that bridal veil is not necessarily everyday wear. So one more thing should get a sale through for her. Let's have a look. No, almost. Okay, so we'll focus our attention on the other two for the time being. Let's just have a look. Okay, so that should get her closer. Okay, and that is, yep, sales for you and sales for you. And I think once we get a sale through for her, we will probably shut for the moment, restock a few things, and then maybe reopen just so we can get things running. There we go. That is finally a sale made to her. So, oh, and apparently I completely missed when he got a bronze sales badge. Okay. And I will just remove all these things because they are annoying me and they are not disappearing that I can see. Oh goodness. Anyone want to remind me why I decided to have so many of these things around? But anyway, we are getting there in terms of removing it. So let's go. Almost there. We are down to the individual different ones. So we are almost at the bottom and I can see the bottom there. Okay, so there we go. That is down and done. Finally, we will close the business. So toggle open and close. set ourselves to be the cashier and just ring up everyone. Unfortunately, because we have done that, they are all going to be standing in a line and essentially waiting for Richard to poke at the various buttons and actually figure out what does what. So we will speed that up a bit and just wait for things. And there we go. Raw to the gut. But hopefully we won't actually have this Janie here time out before she actually gets to the cash register. So no, she has not done that. That is good. So what do Richards wants show? So win best of the best, get a silver sales talents badge, have a level 2 business and get a good review. So we will lock the level 2 business one for now. And actually I'm just going to... So yes, we did randomize the sexuality of a bunch of Sims. So I wonder, I may change Richard's because in his original neighborhood he was a heterosexual Sim. No, it says he is heterosexual. Okay, so apparently when I did the run gender preference thing, it looks like I accidentally did it on low rather than high, but never mind, I've just changed Richard, so we can put that probably there and change it to no, we wanted the fig tree. I can never remember the ficus or the fig tree which one it is, but we've got it there, so we will do a bit of restocking. So let's go business, the restocker, again a business controller thing, and he will go through and restock all of those items. So we have that item going ahead. Let's speed things up, and we don't really have any attractions to any of these Sims just yet, which is obviously going to be a slight issue. Apparently we don't actually have any more russet potatoes. Apparently I forgot to get those from the looks of it, but never mind. So buy 6 of these. That's 4. And that is 6. So we can just leave that there. We will get to that in a moment before going back to restock. And let's actually see. Okay, so technically our cash flow to date is minus 2,000, but hopefully that will adjust itself as we have a bit more, you know, actual income, and we can configure what we are going to be selling a lot more. Okay, so that looks good. Let's pause that for a moment, and we probably need to do things like, whoops, no, I don't want to go back to that neighborhood. You want to do things like have dinner, so we'll get you a bit of food like there. And I think we'll probably leave you as just the age you are, and just kind of headcanon that you are a newly adult Sim who's come into the neighborhood to obviously just find your fortune. Now, how many of each item do we still have in inventory? So we've got a few of them. Okay, so we should be fine for the short term. We obviously can't really do anything like a bulk order until next Sunday. So hopefully this should all be fine for us for the moment, and hopefully by the time we actually come back to Richard we will have some fruit and vegetables that we can start actually selling and have something that is more of a what's the word, self-sustaining. We can do a self-sustaining neighborhood or something close to it anyway. Okay, let's, so probably if we are doing that, we don't necessarily want these crop fields here because Richard is going to be so busy focusing on this. But yeah, so I think that was pretty successful. So this was intended to be a quick live stream so we can actually get back to some of the more interesting aspects of The Sims 2. I think we have accomplished that, so I will end the stream here, and in my schedule I have this next episode planned for Saturday, but I may swap it around with Stardew Valley and just make sure that we have 2 roughly evenly spaced episodes of this out. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Thank you to everyone who's been hanging out and keeping an eye on this, and I will see you again next time. Thank you very much and goodbye.